What's up, everybody? Sorry about the hair again. Welcome back to another video, and in today's video I want to be talking about a very serious topic that I feel like not many people talk about because it's a painful thing to talk about. It's a very privileged thing to be talking about, but I think it's getting over life after athletics, as somebody who didn't make it, right? Or whatever that means to you. I think this is a really niche topic, obviously, but I think I've never found anything online about it, so I'm going to try to talk about it. I've talked a lot with my partner about this, and she's given me a lot of good insight about basically just the reality of it. If you think about what sports are in all around the world, but in America especially, I think America is a little bit different. Basically, how I am trying, I'm still dealing with this. I want you guys to know I'm 22, I'm still dealing with this. How to get over athletics and how to basically move on with your life after telling yourself for so long that you had something that you were born with or that you were born to do, right? Since I was like 3 years old, I thought I was born to play soccer. I just did. I watched Messi growing up. I couldn't believe how good he was, and all I wanted to do was be him. If I could give out everything in my life to be him or just be exactly like him, I would have, right? And I think I was pretty good. I think I'm pretty good. I'm not perfect. I'm not great. I was able to go D2, but I looking back and reflecting, I don't think I was good enough to hang with them. I just didn't have enough. I don't know. I don't have those answers yet, but I wasn't good enough. I came back to a community college, and I partied a lot. I didn't take care of myself at that point. What I was really good was in high school. I didn't have good enough grades, and I think if I had really good grades, I could have made D1, not just because of my talent, obviously, but because of grades as well. But I just don't think I played my cards right. And part of believing in God is understanding that there's a path for you, and just because this path that you've always thought was the right one didn't work out doesn't mean it's over, right? God obviously has a plan for you, so don't sweat it. But that being said, it is very hard. It is very hard. I haven't played for, I want to say, a little over a year and a half. And it is still hard to watch a soccer game. And I noticed it's harder to watch games that I was closer to the leagues I thought I was going to play in, like the MLS. I played a little bit of semi-pro too. And I knew the trajectory up. I knew how to get there. I told myself I'd always be in the 2026 World Cup. And knowing that's going to be coming up soon in 2 years is insane. But yeah, I'm sharing all this because I want you guys to know the reality of what I'm going through. It's very hard. It hurts a lot. And it hurts because I just started watching soccer again. I haven't been watching it for a year and a half. I couldn't watch it. Not only could I not watch it, I have to play FIFA sometimes in order to get the urge out of the way, or I'd have to go kick a ball to remember, okay, maybe, and I should preface this. The reason I stopped playing was because my knees. I had really, really, really bad knees. I've been fighting a knee problem for probably 8 years. Ever since I started to put on weight, my knees I never grew into them, to be honest. And yeah, and I do think I could have done things differently in order to heal them a little bit quicker or better. I've gotten injections, I've gotten everything. And they just never got that much better, and I never got that confidence back on them. And yeah, I mean, my last 3 years of playing, it was really just not confident because my knees were so bad. But that being said, I enjoyed when I played. And I loved every moment of it. I wish I could still be playing it, but the reality is I have building blocks to build. I have shit to pay for, and I have a family that I would like to build in the near future, I should say. So that is more important. And this brings me back to a story, and this is just a perfect, it's like it's out of a movie. I was in a business class in high school, it was sophomore year, I believe, and I thought I was on top of the world. I wasn't the best. I made varsity when I was a freshman. I thought that was really cool. But this one kid who had just graduated probably 2 years ago, he came into, and I don't know if this is true or not, but he came into our class and he told us a little bit about athletics, and he was like, I could have made it. I could have made it to the league. I could have made it. I had offers from D1 schools, but I chose family. And I remember being this little naive kid being like, you idiot. Are you dumb? You just pass up, you could have taken care of your family for the rest of your life. What are you doing? Like, the only reason you're saying that is because it's an excuse. And I think it's so full circle that now I understand that, because you can't do everything in this life. You can't. You just can't. And you have to give it up to the people who are athletes, because they do devote their whole lives to it. You have to give up a lot in order to be that good and consistently good, because it's not just talent. It's very much work ethic and hard work and doing it every day and making sure your body's healed, and not doing shit that's fun that might be hard on your body, and not eating shit that you might enjoy because it's not good for your body. It's like everything. There's a lot of things that are, there's so many aspects for that, right? But it's just so full circle because now I understand it, right? Because now I'm like, oh, I always thought he was an idiot for that, but now I kind of see it. It's like, yeah, I could still chase soccer right now, but I'd be giving up a lot. I'd be regressing. And just because how I treated my last few years and I wasn't taking it as seriously, I don't think I deserve it, right? I clearly didn't do the things that necessary to be the best when I had the opportunities, so, why do it now, right? But I'm just explaining the struggle. I spent the first 7 minutes of this video just sharing where I'm at, right? Very hard to watch games. I watched my first games today and yesterday, and the first half was really hard because I miss it for all the right reasons. I miss walking out there, having the sun hit you, the smell of fresh cut grass, just walking out there in uniform as a team, having that camaraderie, knowing how hard you work to do something, just the sound of the ball sliding across the grass, the touch, the ping, everything, the everything. I miss every right reason for the game. I miss everything about it, right? And that's how I know I truly loved it. But that being said, I had to think about in my head what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. And I don't have an answer, but I have a thought on what I should be doing. And what I should be doing is what I said in the last video. And if you haven't read it, I recommend you go watch it. My building blocks, so that way I can be a better person and help out my family the way I think I should. So that's that. I feel like nobody talks about it. And the biggest thing I've noticed, and this could just be me, but I'm sure there are other people out there, is the mental struggle. When you're that good at athletics and you've always had that chip on your shoulder, you've always been good at something, you've always had friends because you've been good at something, there's an ego boost there. There's literally a part of you that your confidence is because you're that good. You're good at something. You feel valuable because you're that good at something, right? I'm not saying I was insanely good, but I was good enough to be like, okay, I'm good at something, right? To not have that anymore fucks with your head a lot. And I think this is part of the issue with athletics is you want to feel special, you want to feel like you're good at something, and ultimately you want to feel better than other people. That's the game. That's how billionaires act, that's how millionaires act, that's how people with money act, that's how people buy cars, that's how people buy everything, right? You want to feel better, or you have something more or better than someone else, right? And then when you realize you don't have that anymore, and then you're just, I don't want to use this term, but normal, it kills your confidence. You're like, what the fuck? And I've realized this with my partner is because I've had ego problems that I've never had before. And I'm sharing this full honesty. I've had ego problems that I never had before. I was like, I never used to be insecure about these things. And it's like, oh, because I thought I had something going for me, I thought I had a chip on my shoulder that I was going to be the next something, right? And I just can't believe how much of that was built on the thing I love to play every day. So that's a big part that I wanted to talk about, is the mental struggle is real. For people who are going through it, it is real. Accept it. Part of your confidence was built on how good you were. But nobody likes somebody who talks about that. Nobody likes, like, well, I used to be good at this. What else do you have to show for it, right? And that's the only thing that is getting me away from soccer. The only thing that is making it okay is the fact that I am putting so much effort into everything else. And that's the honest truth. I was like, okay, I've been fighting, separating from soccer for like 2 years now. I can't do it. Okay, what can I do? What is the one thing that I could walk away knowing I didn't get soccer? Okay, well, I know that when I'm a good father, I'll be able to walk away happy. I know I'm a good husband, I'll be able to walk away happy. I know when I'm a good backbone and strong leader of my family, I know I'll be happy, right? So I literally took those 3 things and I was like, okay, I have to run with that, because that is the only thing that will keep me away from hating myself for not being able to achieve my childhood dream, right? Or one of them, right? Because I think my childhood dream was to play soccer, but it was never for the reasons of being famous or being really good or being, it was always, that was my way out. And I think that's the better way of looking at it, is like, that was my way out. That was how I'm going to take care of my family. So I was like, okay, that was the disguise for a medium to get what I actually wanted. So now I need a different one. And that reality helps get over that, getting over that reality, or that, it's not even reality, but that false premise of like, oh, I was meant to do something. What you're meant to do is multiple things, right? It's not just one thing. That's something to understand, but that you just had a vehicle in which you wanted to be successful. That doesn't mean you're not going to be successful now that you turned down this one thing. It just means your vehicle is different. You got to get a new vehicle. So for me, it was finding a bigger purpose. It was understanding the bigger purpose, all along, and being like, okay, if soccer was only the vehicle for that, it's okay to move on from it, right? So that helped a lot as well. And then the last point I'm going to share, I'm not saying it's a good thing, and I know I sound like a petty loser when I say it, but the reality, and it's something that Andrew Tate has talked about, and it helps me get over it, right? I'm not saying it's good. I understand that there are people who are athletes who are going to disagree with it, but it's the idea of circus and show, right? Circus and bread, whatever you want to call it. That all of sports originated from the idea of watching a circus, that you're stopping chaos for a moment so that way you can watch people act, which I think ultimately actually helps a lot of people. But it's like, okay, the things I actually want in life are to be a good husband, father, and leader of my family. I want to have those good building blocks that you watched in the last video. How much does being really good at kicking around a ball actually matter? And saying I'm the best at kicking around a ball. Yeah, because a lot of other people like it means it feels pretty damn good, right? But something that helps me get over the idea of not having it anymore is understanding it's just sports. It's not the biggest thing in the world. And yeah, the sport I like happens to be the biggest sport in the world. And that 2022 World Cup was probably World Cup final was one of the greatest moments of my life. Like watching that, I could not believe how, you know what I mean? But it's not everything, right? And I have to understand that, and I have to live with that. And that helped me get over it as well. But yeah, in today's video, I just wanted to share the reality of that, and that hopefully that ties with other people or connects with other people. Is like, you're not alone in this. It is a reality, and I feel like it's a reality that not a lot of people talk about. And I think therapy is a good option, although I'm not going to therapy, so I don't know how much I can speak on that. But understanding that it might have damaged your mental more than you think. It might have damaged your physical more than you think. It's similar, but I'm not comparing it at all in terms of value. So don't get this twisted. I'm not saying we're working just as hard or just as valuable or just as important. Not even close. Not even close. Not even close. But it's a similar concept of when veterans come home from war. So I have a lot of family members who have been to war, and it's the problem of you went over there, you thought you were doing something great. Sorry, correction. You were doing something great. You're defending your country. You're taking care of those you love, and potentially dying for your country. You were out there thinking you were doing a bigger purpose. You were serving a bigger purpose. You might have been a general. You might have been a captain. You might have been someone very important and structural to protecting our country. And then you come home and no one cares about you. And that's how these homeless vets happen. This is how I've seen my personal family struggle. Is you come back and you're like, well, I just did all this. I was so important, and now I'm nothing. And that transition kills a lot of people. It causes suicides more than you think. It causes homelessness more than you think. It's like you used to be a big shot, and not in an egotistical way. Veterans actually did it in a very selfless, taking care of the ones they love and putting their lives on the line way, right? This is a completely smaller scale, completely more selfish scale, but it's the same concept of you thought you were doing something and you thought you were really important for the things and the skills you had and the things you were doing, and then you get out of it and you're like, oh, I'm just normal, right? And I think it is very important to understand the reality of that concept of you're gonna have these ego battles and you're gonna have these issues, but what can you do about it? You know, I think coming to terms with what I was going through was a huge part of it, right? Coming to terms with, okay, honestly, I wasn't good enough. If I was good enough, I would have made it. Yeah, I could have scraped by and worked really hard, and I think I still could make it if I had enough money to take care of my body and my family, and I worked hard every day. I know I could give enough to make it somewhat, right? But I didn't make it with what I was given. So that's just the honest truth. We move on. What else can I do? How else can I be the best version of myself? Understanding that my short-term goal of being a professional soccer player was actually a vehicle to be a successful human being. So the vehicle ran out of gas, get into the next one, right? So I think that's a huge thing. And really, if this connects with anyone, just understand you're not alone, and it's normal. And unfortunately, because the way sports are structured in this country, it seems like it's an out that's better than going to school and being a valued member of society. I don't know. I'm still trying to indulge and understand and analyze this concept, but the fact that I feel like we praise the wrong people. Like athletes, yes, they work hard, and it is beautiful to see how well people can get at a certain craft, especially in art or a game that we love, when they put their whole lives into it. And there is a level of appreciation for that, of course. But I don't think that should be the goal for most people, and unfortunately it is the goal for most kids growing up, is they want to be an athletic something, right? However, I think being a valued member of society and helping out those around you and loving those around you and being a good partner and a good husband or wife or son or daughter or father or mother is so much more important, and that's how we pass on our lineage and whatnot. And sports are great, and I think they also somewhat brainwash a lot of the people in this country. And I can't speak on anything else. I can speak on what I can only speak on what I've gone through. And I think it's like the jock issue, and then the superiority. You kind of feel like, I know every kid who had to get up out of class and go to their sports game felt like they were on top of the world, because you got to be special enough to leave class and go play a game. But that's just it. You are passing up education and getting smarter in order to play a game because you know you were that good at a game. And I'm still trying to process how bad or good that is, but we can all agree that it was a thing. So coming to terms with that and understanding, well, maybe that wasn't the best, or that's not the best reason to want to do it, right? And knowing that it's probably, that's the part I can't come to terms with. I think it is a net positive. Sports are a net positive, but it's coming to terms with what they're doing to the youth, because you want to teach them that, yeah, you can be really good at something and enjoy it and have fun. And the whole point of, honestly, what my parents did, or what my father did, especially from the childhood they had, they put me in sports so I'd stay out of drugs. They put me in sports so I'd stay out of the bad parts of where they grew up, right? I grew up in a very, very wealthy and nice place because they worked so hard to get me here. But they didn't think that was just enough. They were like, there are people who do drugs everywhere. There are people who are stupid everywhere. put him in sports, put him in something he loves that would force him not to do drugs, not force him not to make bad decisions, so that way he could be ready and be able to play that sport, right? And it worked very well. And that's the part where I'm understanding sports have a good intention. But the problem is, it fucked my psyche up so much later on when I couldn't make it or didn't make it, that I don't know how much the net positive for me was, right? So I'm still analyzing that, but I just wanted you guys to know what I'm going through right now. And I'm getting better. Like, it's not like I'm stuck, but it's working, it's getting better. And I hope if anyone out there resonates with that, I hope you can understand. But yeah, it's okay. There's other things out there. Don't stress about it. But you've got to focus on the bigger picture, right? But that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Peace.